back from New York. I can't wait to come home and work on my RCs at Crawler Ted's garage.
About 18 different projects, which is how it usually goes around here. That just seems to be how I roll. You know, I'm not a pick a project, finish the project, you know, move on to the next project. It's more like there's 18 projects on the go. I gotta recruit somebody to help me with some projects. Seriously. Anyway, tonight, why I'm out here. Project Hustler. Now the reason I'm naming another rig. I keep telling people I never name my rigs. This is the second one in a row I'm naming. I don't know. Maybe it'll start a trend and I'll start naming them all. I don't know. Anyway, this one, Project Hustler. Simply because it's an RCP Crawlers Hustler super class crawler chassis. Okay, this started, I used to run this as a super class crawler chassis. I don't anymore. I now run the Super Juice. So it's been sitting around for a while. It sat around for a long time. Then I took threw some AX10 SCX10 axles under it, and I had it set up as a FOF for quite a while. There's no FOFing around here, I'll be honest. We have nothing to FOF. Not really, you know. It wasn't too bad. But so what I decided to do was ditch the AX10 axles. I went and I stripped my Ridgecrest down, and the Ridgecrest was the donor for the driveline for this. Okay, so and the nice thing is with the AX10 axles I was running wideners. Now with the Ridgecrest axles I don't need to run wideners, right? They're already wider. It's pretty beefy. It looks good. It's a sick truck. I think it's going to be cool. There's a lot of tubers going on right now around here. Everybody's got one for the trail for some bashing. I thought, what the hell? I've got that Hustler chassis. I'm going to run it, you know? So, it does have the bend nose. I bent it up when I had it as a FOF. I had it very low. To clear the servo, I bent the nose up. So, versus the Project Hustler, I was going to call it either Duck or Bill, because it's got that duck bill look, right? So, anyway, 2.2 ripsaws right off my Wraith. What am I running in this? Just the overdrive, both overdrive, upgraded bevel gears. The tranny is built. It's got the RPP stuff, or the RRP, sorry. Castle. I got a 5700 in here right now. I don't know if that's going to be the ticket. That might be a little too high of a KV. I ran it in here as a FOF, but that was, you know, more point and shoot 3-cell lipo, right? I'd like a little bit of, I don't necessarily expect it to be a trail rig, more of a trail beast, let's say, you know what I mean? Just something different to run on the trail. Anyway, so it's pretty much ready to go. I need to waterproof my ESC and my receiver. So here's the ESC. This is an Castle Mamba Max Pro. Okay, I've decased it already. I should have showed you that, but whatever. It's nothing to decasing, right? Just pop in the little things and pull everything out. Okay. So all I've done to prep this for Plasti dipping is I like to take and clean my wires. I use a little alcohol on a rag and I just clean the wires, because when I Plasti dip, I want to make sure the wires, that the Plasti dip is going to stick to the wires well and up a ways. You know what I mean? Because that's a potential for a leak. Now, mind you, I'm not using the standard Plasti dip today. I'm going to use the Plasti dip spray, okay? Just because it's a little bit nicer to work with. You'll see. I'll show you. Anyway, so that's getting Plasti dipped. Also, the receiver right out of my Ridgecrest. The AR3, I'm going to strap that, and the radio from that are going to be what runs this rig. So I like using the cheap ass 2.4 radios on the trail, I gotta tell you, because I just know if I took my DX3R or my 4PK or something on the trail, something bad would happen. I know it. So I don't go there. Anyway, the other thing I have, see this? Push that down. You see how I have the can of Plasti dip in a bowl of hot water here? Now it wouldn't matter if it was Plasti dip or spray paint. I always warm up my Plasti dip, my spray paint, whatever the case may be, in a bowl of warm water. And it helps to warm up what's been sitting there while it's been sitting on the shelf at the store or sitting in your cupboard at home, whatever the case may be. So yeah, do that and then shake that out of it really good, you know. So only a couple minutes in the warm water. Doesn't have to be hot water, but you know, warm anyway. So what I have here is Plasti dip, okay? Plasti dip spray. Now the Auto Value here in Calgary, just recently I was there checking it out, and man, they got a whole bunch of different colors and some clears. This is actually a clear, okay? So this is Plasti dip clear. Now they also have a clear coat that you put over your Plasti dip. That's not this. This is Plasti dip clear, okay? So there's a difference for sure. The other is just like a clear coat you would put over paint. That's what the clear coat for the Plasti dip is. Same idea. Whereas this is a Plasti dip, only it's clear. So that's pretty sweet, right? You can see, obviously by the lid, right, that it's, you know, transparent or whatever. So I've already used this on the Rubicon. I'll show you in a minute here at the Rubicon. They had clears like a gold clear and a clear with a metal flake in them even. Like, there's a lot of them. I took some pictures. I'll throw up a couple pictures in this video as well. I think it shows the colors and such on the cans. So I always like to shake, whether it's paint or Plasti dip, always shake it good, man. Shake it good, nice warm can, you're going to get better results. You know, the paint is going to come out better, it's going to flow better, it's going to, you know, coat your product better. So, okay, let's leave that for a second. So this in here is the stock AE2 that came with the Rubicon. And I mean, you can tell if you look in there, it doesn't even look like it's Plasti dipped at all, right? That looks like you can see it's decased. I should have took the battery tray off for a better view, I suppose. Anyway, all I'm trying to show you is that it is Plasti dipped in the same way as I'm going to do this one right now, with clear spray Plasti dip, okay? And if you haven't seen any of the videos, I mean, I've already had this Rubicon out half a dozen times or so at least, and it's been swimming every time. So I'm fully sold on Plasti dip. This is just a way nicer, cleaner way to do it. The trick with the spray is coats, right? You know, thin coats. Now what I do though, and I've done this on a few of them. See some of the... Here, first of all, getting ahead of myself here. Okay, you probably heard about how you don't want to get the heat sink and everything all covered in Plasti dip because of the heat buildup. Well, this is a little different because we're actually spraying a very thin coat of Plasti dip onto the whole thing, okay, versus dipping it, which then encases it in a Plasti dip bubble, right? So then you could make heat inside there, generate some heat possibly, right? So all I'm going to do here right now, I'm going to try and keep my fins clean, you know what I mean? My cooling fins. So all I'm going to do is take a piece of masking tape. Here, I'm just going to do it and I'll show you. I'm sorry, I won't sing. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so without interfering with anything else, covering anything else that I do want to spray, I have strictly covered up the fins, you see. with a piece of tape around there. So what I'm going to do with this first coat of Plasti dip is that I'm going to try and flood these areas. I want to make sure I spray a good anywhere where there's gaps. You see, like in here there's a gap. I want to make sure I get my Plasti dip in there, in all of those crevices and stuff. And then I'm going to hit it with, you know, multiple coats. I'm out here in the garage. I have the stove going. I mean, it's nice and toasty in here, so I will do this first coat, like I say, kind of flood a couple areas, make sure I get around everything good, and then it'll be a matter of just building it up with coats. So the wires, I generally take and, you know, get some spray around there, and then I'm going to figure out how I want them, which is probably around like this, and then I'm going to make sure that they can't move, that they stay still, and Plasti dip them right into place how I want them. So I'm going to turn this off. Now here's another thing too. If I was going to eventually potentially use this as censored, which is highly unlikely just because of, you know, what I've been doing with it and what I'm doing with it, I could take some dielectric grease or something maybe and fill that in with grease and then Plasti dip it, so that eventually you could just cut the Plasti dip, you know, and dig out some of the grease and you'd be good to go. So another option is if you have an old plug it in there, cut the wires off, then Plasti dip everything. If you ever want to use the censored part, you could just cut around that, pull the plug out, and so, you know what I mean? I know I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to go ahead and that'll be another spot that I kind of flood with Plasti dip. So I'll make sure I spray in those areas good. So anyway, I'm going to get the first coat on and then I'll show you again. Okay, so here's the ESC, fresh from spraying. I just brought it back in. You can see, probably looks pretty wet. See, there we go. But check that out, eh? Clear. Like, isn't that sick? So fully protected, fully Plasti dipped, and clear. I think it even looks trick, you know? It's kind of a neat idea. You can, because you can, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. I just think it looks really good clear, I tell you what. So like I was saying, now I'm going to bend this wire down. So exactly what I said I was going to do. I flooded, you know, a lot of the areas in and around that, flooded it in and around that heat sink and around the wires, around these wires, you know, those plug-in ports. I made sure that all those areas I got them flooded well, so that all that is good. Now I'm going to start coating it up, right? So I'm going to hang it over here in the garage and let it dry. Okay. So next will be this little guy. I'm going to do the receiver. Same thing. Hey, you know what's really trick on this? And I'm sure this is the first time I've seen this in any receiver. Right there on the board. The problem with decasing a receiver and stuff sometimes is if you don't recall how it was situated in the case, you don't know which end to start with for your steering and throttle and blah blah blah. Anyway, this one is actually marked right there. I was really surprised. It says channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and something else. But we know that is battery on that end anyway. So, but yeah, that's cool. And since I'm using clear Plasti dip, I'm always gonna be able to see that. So it's never gonna be an issue with this one. So, kind of trick. I'm gonna go spray it right now. Okay, so I've got a first coat on the ESC and on the receiver. So while they're drying a little bit, so there we go. There's Plasti dip. So that's clear. Here's some black I actually got because I did some wheels and stuff. You know, if you have chrome wheels or aluminum wheels and you're tired of looking at them in that way, Plasti dip is a good way to change the color of them. Just spray them, you know what I mean? I've done it with black paint before. The Plasti dip works great. I'm running aluminum wheels on my Rubicon, and that's what I've done to them, just to change it up. You know, I've had those wheels for so long. So instead of leaving them the raw aluminum, I just Plasti dipped them black, and they look great. So anyway, the other option besides Plasti dipping for waterproofing is and my favorite method. Now, you know, in this it depends on space, right? In this rig here, I don't have a whole lot of room in there. I'm going to put my electronics back in this compartment here. I actually Velcro a battery up underneath, a small 3-cell. So depending, and a strap of course, so there's not a lot of space. So I wouldn't use a box in this rig. It just wouldn't fit, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm doing the electronics, each piece individually. Now, my trail honcho, my Rubicon, anything like that, I tell you, I prefer the box method for the most part. I mean, there's so many things. It just makes it so nice. So, it looks like hell right now from the outside, and that's simply because I had it spray painted flat black. Now maybe I'll Plasti dip it, actually, give it a coat of Plasti dip instead of a flat black paint. But it was mounted to the back of this Dodge lid, underneath of it, something like that. So that's why I painted it black, just so that it kind of blended in. Of course, the paint's kind of chipped off and stuff. But anyway, so look, what's cool is all the guys that we trail with and stuff, we're all kind of set up the same. You know what I mean? As far as our plugins and stuff go, right? We make it so that we can change stuff on the trail. We keep these kind of connections and stuff like that. No matter what happens on the trail, we can swap stuff out. Right up to a servo even. You see my servo leads? So one for the servo, and then I even have an extra for lights or whatever you may want to power off of that. And you can run a couple of those kind of things out, you know what I mean, with the box. You make your holes and run out however many wires you want. So what I've done here is each wire comes through its own individual hole, you see. I drilled the holes as snug as possible, got the wires through, and then I basically took CA from both sides, so from the outside and from the inside, thin CA, filled the crack around them. I wanted it clean and nice. I mean, if I was just going to gob it up with silicone, I would just gob it up with silicone. I didn't want to do that. So the CA was very thin, flows in there. Again, this as well, this has been tested. Tried and true, trust me. This thing's been submerged and held under, and I mean, it's guaranteed, right? I know waterproofing. Anyway, check it out. This is so nice, because I know it looks so nasty on the outside, but trust me. Okay, boom. So look at that. We got an FXR in there. Tekin FXR. And see how the wires go through there all nice over here? Boom, boom, boom. There's no gobs of silicone, nothing nasty. There's the 6 wires for the 2 receiver plugs, see? Receiver is laid down in here. I can't remember what this one is. Huh. I don't remember which radio I'm running on this. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. So, I have actually gone as far as I've had my winch control. I could get, when I've had a setup where I was running the winch off the radio plugged into the receiver, I could get the winch control in here. I could even get a small 2-cell LiPo to power the winch control if you wanted to inside this box. You know what I mean? Light controller, if you want to have your axial light controller or something, you could definitely fit that in here. It's a great way to go. These are, these come from Walmart. I used to get them for like $3 or something. Now I see they've doubled them up. It looks like same price, $6, but you got to buy a pair. Here anyway, they are lock and lock. Made, I don't think it's Rubbermaid. I was going to say Rubbermaid, but just lock and lock. You can't miss them, right, with the 4 fold down flaps. But tell you, once it's sealed up, there's no way water gets in there. They are totally waterproof. So they work great, and it's a nice clean way to have your waterproofing. If you say, for example, you want to change your ESC or something for whatever reason, or the receiver, it's easy to do. It's just 2-sided taped in there, unsoldered these connections. I could pull that out in a matter of a couple minutes. Simple as that. So and like I say, it's totally portable. It's ready to go, plug into anybody's truck, and they're back on the road. So this is actually out of the Dodge that I showed you the lid there. Project Bodacious. This is the electronics from it. I don't know that they'll be going back. That'll be going back into Bodacious, because I am leaning towards the Holmes BRXL ESC with the DeWalt 800 motor, I think it is. One of the fellows in the group there, I think he's Rookie 101 on YouTube and on the forums, and he's a club member, one of the crawler guys, and he has mentioned this. I've seen this combo before, so my thing about it is I know it's grunty, lots of bottom end, lots of torque, and that's what I want. Bodacious is going to be a tow rig, it's going to be a pulling trailer, it's going to be, but I also want Bodacious to be able to have some power to the wheels, you know what I'm saying? So there again, I guess the BRXL will take up to 6-cell lipo, so there's my power, I suppose. If anybody has is familiar with that 800 series or 800 DeWalt motor, and you know, in something axial based, hey, I'd like to hear about it or see the video or something, just so I can kind of see what it'll do. I'm hoping it's going to have enough power to the wheels to, you know, be impressive. I'm throwing a dig unit into Bodacious because I want it to be able to run in 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. Like I say, it's going to be a tow rig, towing a trailer, full exo cage, blah blah blah. Brian, Team Stand Customs, he's got that, so he's going to do something crazy with that. KC Hobbycraft, he had the hold of the body and he's taken and chopped the cab now, slammed the cab a little bit, so that looks pretty sick. Yeah, it's looking really good. This project's going to be really cool. So the power plant is something. Check it out. I'll give you a little. There we go. 6 brand new iRocks all mounted up. I'm going to be running them on my RC 4-wheel drive, 2 true scale bead locks. I have the center caps for these bad boys. I got a couple of black ones because of course it's going to be dualies on the back. So so those are ready to go. Nothing like new tires. Look at that, brand new tires. Lyle just put 4 brand new ones of these on today, so I know he's happy, boy. So I am just gonna spray a couple more coats of that on. You know, I'm letting it dry really good. I got the fire going out here, the fan blowing on them. They're hanging, you know. I'll let it dry really well, and I'll give it another, I don't know, couple light coats, you know what I mean? Just make sure I get all over it. I flooded and filled all the areas that, you know, I needed to do. Now we'll just coat it and waterproof it all. Then I can take the tape off that heatsink on the ESC, and I'm totally confident it's going to be 100%. I've done this numerous times. The Rubicon is the latest one to be running this exact same setup. That's when I got into the clear. I've never had the clear before. That is really sweet. I think it looks really trick that you can take your electronics, spray them, they're fully waterproofed, and yet you can still see everything right through there. That's kind of neat to me anyway. It's, remember the electronics, the craze there for a while with telephones and all that other crap? They had it out of clear plastic so you can see the innards. That's the same kind of idea, I guess. I don't know. Maybe some of us are more easily amused than others. Anyway, so yeah, other than that, that's it. I guess I just wanted to, you know, my version. I know everybody's done a waterproofing, how to, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I know there's a crap load of it out there. It's just, you know, it's another thing. I've said it before. A lot of stuff in RC comes down to personal preference, opinion. You know what I mean? What works for somebody may not work for somebody else. But you know, that's just the way it is. Okay. So anyway, next time I'll show you my way of doing a servo. How I waterproof a servo. All right. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one.